everyone, and welcome to ClearlyCast, the go-to show brought to you by the fastest growing Roblox UGC marketplace. I'm your host Reese, and today we have one of the top masters in the field of role-playing products on our platform. This seller is one of 10,000 registered sellers, making their store grow every single day with our Clearly Development platform. Along with this, their products range in our 20,000 products that are available to purchase on our platform, and they're proud of that. Of course, if you want to see their products or you want to search products for your games, make sure to go to ClearlyDev.com to find your amazing products for the amazing games that you can make. Each week, we'll dive into the mindsets of the top sellers, top communities, and top creators on our Clearly Development platform, uncovering their secrets, strategies, and stories that drive their success. Today, on our third episode of our ClearlyCast, we have Dy1an Development, a powerhouse within the Roblox UGC community and our Clearly Development marketplace. Dy1an Development helped to kickstart people's communities and inspire others within the role-playing category to chase their creativity. So welcome to the studio. Here we have Dylan from obviously Dy1an Development. Again, how do you feel about being on ClearlyCast? How are you feeling about being on the show?
It's good, thank you. I've never done anything like this before, so it's quite exciting, thanks.
I mean, this is our third episode of actually doing something like this, so for me it's still quite new, and for me it's still quite exciting to be in the studio and in this set to obviously be talking about you. So how long have you been working at Dy1an Development? How long has it been actually up on Clearly Development for?
Well, I actually knew about the site before the marketplace even happened, so I kind of started on the same day, which is probably about 3 years ago. I think it was in June or summertime.
Yeah.
So since then, we've kind of just been doing UK style products because obviously the market for UK style stuff is so big. So we wanted to enter that, and since then we've just kept growing.
Yeah, because I obviously, before I did any of the ClearlyDev stuff, I started developing my own maps and everything like that, and I'm pretty sure I actually used some of Dy1an Development's products in, and I've known about Dy1an Development for quite some time, and I brought up the idea again when you messaged in talking about bringing you on, and I thought it was an amazing opportunity, an amazing idea. Thank you again so much for reaching out. So your server, quite a big server in the role-playing community, and obviously with that comes a lot of responsibility. So how do you think selling on ClearlyDev has helped impact your server and grow your server?
Well, ClearlyDev is massive now. I mean, it's the biggest UGC market out there. So recently, it's summertime now. It's brilliant. It's so busy. We've just kept growing and there's more products.
Yeah.
We've got more developers now, so we can get more stuff out. I mean, there's been loads going on right now because I'm currently making a big thing, but they should be out maybe at the end of summer. Now I have more free time.
I mean, obviously it sounds great that you're making the big thing. You got loads of developers. I mean, I'm obviously looking in the server, and I can see that you got loads of staff, whether it be partnership representatives or again developers support team. And obviously with ClearlyDev being a big platform as it is, you sometimes get people coming to your server and sort of asking for support with the product. So again, hiring the staff, exactly, it's going to get busy, and I think having that Discord server there and having the staff there is obviously going to be great. So how well has Dy1an Development actually been performing on ClearlyDev? Has it been doing well? Has it been exceeding your expectations?
Well, this summer, I mean, summer's always the best time for the company, really, because it's so busy. I mean, we have a sale right now. We can get 25% off everything. I mean, 25% above already ongoing sales, I suppose. But the sales are quite constant. Because, I mean, ClearlyDev's a great way to make money, really. I mean, if you're a Roblox developer, this site tries to make your store perform well, and overall it is constant. So I would urge anyone to get on it, really.
I mean, we saw that. I mean, in fact, I saw that because obviously you put up an announcement, I think, on the 24th of June saying we'd selected you for the ClearlyDev Store of the Week. And I felt like you deserved it because, you put a lot of effort in your products, and a lot of effort comes out of that, and we can see that. And I think that's what we look for in a lot of stores. So, of course, if stores doing extremely well, or if a store's making an impact on ClearlyDev, we do go out of our way and promote it and promote some of their products. So why would you enter the role-playing community? Is there sort of a spark there from you? Is there something you just wanted to do in that community?
Well, that's kind of what I've always made. I mean, I'm following it anyway, so it's kind of what I know. But the market itself is quite massive, and it's kind of the best thing that I'm making at. So it wouldn't really make sense for me to go into any other market because it wouldn't be as good. But right now we are trying to get out into different industries. Like we're making our first airport, trying to get into the aviation industry because that's also huge. So we are trying to expand in different ways.
Well, talking about expanding and everything like that, obviously selling on ClearlyDev means that, as you've said, it's a massive platform and all of that. What would be your most sold product per se?
We have a few, but the main one is a Welsh town called Bedgullet. It's a smallish map, but it's good for groups who just want like a product to kickstart their community. Like they don't want to just buy the whole lot and buy everything, or they want to make it more affordable. So
Yeah.
the groups that just want something to start with, because obviously some people don't just like going off studio and having a blank base plate, because it's not what everyone works with, it's not what everyone likes. So things saying like £7-8, and
Yeah.
it kind of has good stuff to get a UK group going, really. But recently we've had Millport, which is the most recent map, which kind of has like everything the UK group needs to get going. I mean, it's got 4 stations: ambulance, fire, police, RNLI, car dealerships, countrysides, beaches. It kind of had everything to try and get a group going.
Well, I'm actually just sort of looking at Millport map right now, and yeah, it's obviously a really good map in its design and everything like that. I mean, it seems to be based in Scotland, or something like that. And I'm just looking at the description; it's pretty in depth as well.
Yeah, I mean, it is in Scotland, but it can be set anywhere. The only thing you have to really do is change like the police sign from Police Scotland to, I don't know, the Met or West Midlands Police, or whatever. So it is, you can change it easily to wherever you want your community to be set.
Well, no, I mean, it looks really good. Like, it has the entire description here, which is what, again, most people look for. We try to say to people to, like, really put loads of effort into the description, because again, it can come back exactly, and it does affect sales. Descriptions do, as much as it may think, images only accept sales and all that. No, descriptions do too. And I think as you've done there, I mean, it looks amazing. Obviously, there's a Discord server link as well, again, for the support team, and it looks absolutely incredible. So talking about selling on ClearlyDev, again, with your most sold product and the amount of people on ClearlyDev, apart from sort of that demographic, what made you want to start Dy1an Development and kickstart off Dy1an Development by selling on ClearlyDev instead of other platforms?
Well, ClearlyDev was actually the first site I've ever started selling on. I mean, it kind of is the reason the company was started, really, because I don't think I would have ever really gone on any other site, to be fair. But it's great because there is a massive like demand for Roblox on there. I think if I went on any other site, it would have been a lot harder to try and get products out there, and ClearlyDev kind of do a lot of that for you, so it's quite chill and easy. It also, like, the taxes are really small. It's like 10% on every purchase, which is basically nothing, really, and there's no hidden fees. And across, we have 3 sites. So we have a PayHip site, which is being updated now. It's taken a while because it's not as popular as all the ClearlyDev, and we have our Roblox one. But ClearlyDev by far is the most busy.
Obviously, with the amount of products you have on there and everything like that, it does make sense that ClearlyDev will be the most busiest. I mean, when you see these massive stores with loads of products on, pulling in loads of revenue, I mean, it's really incredible to see, because their products just dominate the market, and I think that's why the top stores stay the top stores, because they can just produce these products like Dy1an Development does, and produce them at such a fast rate that they have loads of developers behind them. How would Dy1an Development actually help kickstart other sort of groups, whether it be role-playing or even little development groups that are just inspired by what you do?
I suppose we and other stores are kind of like the biggest on the UK style market, and it's such a big market that there needs to be loads of stores, because obviously there's so many things you can buy. There needs to be a range of customers to have that on there. So if the companies think about going on it, don't feel like threatened by the big numbers, because I was at the start. I had like two products on there, and I didn't even have a Discord server, which had nothing. So you can still get big on it. I mean, the site kind of wants you to get big. They don't really take much off you at all. It really has everything going for you, really. I mean, it's free. Just try, start it, and see what happens. It worked out all right for me. So.
And I think one other thing, we mentioned this in our previous podcast as well with Broken. I think one of the main things that makes ClearlyDev want you to get big and want you to have the sales is, yes, obviously the no hidden fees. It's extremely easy to start selling on the website, and there is loads of knowledge bases as well that we have that do tell you our fees and our structures, but it's also the automated SEO. That was one thing that was mentioned in the Broken Studios podcast, and that's one thing again I'm going to mention. It's because I do genuinely think it's really good. I mean, I sell on ClearlyDev and I do my own thing, and when I search up my own thing, the ClearlyDev thing comes up as well, and I think that just shows you that the SEO is good, and it will become the top of Google.
I mean, I was looking at the pages on the SEO, and despite all the partnerships in the server trying to advertise it out, ClearlyDev still has like 85% of all people getting in. So it is really good.
I mean, I couldn't agree more, to be honest. I mean, you see all the big brands taking advantage of it as well, and I think it's not really, if you're an extremely big brand, you're going to get pushed first. I think it's pretty fair across the user base, because even in some of the trending tabs or whatever, I do see some smaller communities that I've never heard of before.
It's honestly depend on like the product itself, not the actual actual store on a
Yeah, I
whole.
mean, you know what selling on ClearlyDev's like. If a store wanted to get big, how do you think ClearlyDev's, SEO, even some of our social media pages, just drawing them to the website, how do you think selling on ClearlyDev would actually help, smaller brands to gain traction on the website?
Well, there's more than just actually like the main stuff on the site. I mean, if you look on all the social medias, it's so easy to get involved. I mean, there's the store of the week. They showcase all your products. They repost your stuff. So there is more than just the simple site stuff. I mean, the site stuff is far better than any other sites, but they really do try their best to try and get your products out there. And I think if you're on the site, you probably will see an increase in your sales as compared to other sites you might be
There
on.
are other competitors, obviously, like you mentioned earlier. You have PayHip, which recently just again opened their Roblox thing. Again, if you're selling on ClearlyDev, we expect you to sell on other marketplaces as well. That's just, again, Broken mentioned it last time, that's just how you gain more income, really. Selling on ClearlyDev is just an easy way of income. Just like if you were to start selling on Built by Bit, just if you were to start selling on PayHip. It's just an easy way of income. So you talked about Millport. How's Millport been doing on, reviews been of it? How have people's feedback been on it? Even how was it in development?
So it took quite a while to build actually because how big it is, but it was definitely worth the time on it. I mean, I don't think there's many reviews on the actual site itself, but in my DMs and on the server and stuff, there's been quite good feedback. I mean, I often get people interested saying, can I see more photos on whatever, and then they buy it and whatever. There is quite a large interest on it. I do get quite a lot of messages from it and support, like questions and whatnot. I think it's been our most selling product the last week or so, because obviously our summer sale you can get it for around £20, which is quite good on the site. You do have everything you need in there. Obviously, with the map itself, all these assets and our buildings in it, they can be used so many times, and it's quite easy to expand. You already have everything on the map to use to expand it with. All the small things like roads, signs, markings, everything, trees, hills, landmarks. So it's so easy to expand it if you're wanting something bigger or something changing. Because obviously, not every single thing in any map is going to be exactly how you want it for your group. Because every group's different.
What would you say is the best way to go? Would you say making loads of maps and then start pricing them extremely high, or making just small assets but making a lot of them and then pushing them out so that your products fill the user base?
Well, that's what I did at the start. I mainly just made assets because I think it's quite important to have a store which is active and racking out products quite often, because it does get you out there a lot. And if you do that, they're normally quite a cheap and affordable price. Like some of our assets, most of them are below £5. And they kind of do have everything. So if we're doing prices which aren't really cheap, they do have everything you need. We don't like to rip people off. So if you are trying to get a store, I would, if you're doing maps, make them affordable and make them of a size that a group can actually do something with them. Because in my opinion, I don't think there's much point in paying an expensive price and the map has 5 very detailed buildings and 1 road. You can't have a game around that. And if you are doing assets, which is what I did, but now we're starting to go into maps a lot more, it's great because you really do get out there.
Well, again, I completely do agree with that. I mean, when I started selling on my ClearlyDev store, I mean, I don't really sell on it anymore, but I do obviously have the assets still up there. My whole thing was assets, and I'd made assets, whether it be a vehicle spawner or just a few couple assets, Even now they're still selling, and I don't even realize it.
It's a really easy and passive way to make money, I suppose. Even when you're busy, you can still be racking up sales.
And I think that's why, Dy1an Development does good, because you have all these developers behind you.
Yeah, it's quite difficult when you get to quite a big store to do everything by yourself. Obviously, life gets busy, and sometimes you physically just can't do everything by yourself. So you do have to look into getting teams and assistants and managers to help out.
We've been talking about actually selling the assets and then the revenue sort of coming from how to price them. But one thing people also want to know is what makes a product sell in the first place. So again, I talked about the description last time, but if you were to start selling an asset that did have, bad photos, it wasn't really showing them, that's obviously going to affect a product sales negatively. So, I think yours, whether it be any big store on the platform, knows to obviously put effort into there, whether it be video, you can do a little showcase video, or product photos. And I think that's why Dy1an Development as well, because for your own brand, you have a trailer and what you sell, which obviously does good for your brand. And even on the products, you do, in-depth photos. And again, that's why Millport, I know, was a lot of photos, which is probably why.
Yeah, I think it's like 100.
Yeah, so, it's crazy that people don't take advantage of it. And I think that's one thing that needs to be taken advantage of. Because obviously I do the product showcases each day, each week, and I see maps and everything that have a lot of potential. but they don't have enough photos for me to even put in a product review. And
Yeah.
I want to promote that map loads, but I can't because there's just not enough photos to show it. So I think that's one thing that's holding stores back. I mean, I don't really know what's your opinion on it?
I just try and take a photo of like everything in a map. You might think, oh, no one's really going to care about that, but it just kind of build a picture of what the actual map looks like. I mean, if you're buying a huge map and you're seeing 10 photos, they're gonna want to see more to actually buy it. Because if you take it away from Roblox and just to a normal shop, if you just see one photo of it, you're not gonna be like happy to buy it. You want to see it quite in depth. And
Yeah.
I also, to sell a product, I'd say before it even releases, try and like in a way promote it and like hype it up, if that's the right word. I mean, before we sell the meal put map, there was loads of teasers of it, trailers, release dates. There was stuff on our Twitter. We really tried to get it out there because it was our best product yet. Well, our best map yet.
I completely agree. I mean, people see the platform, and yes, it's a Roblox platform. Yes, it is a Roblox platform at the end of the day, but it's a virtual asset store. Yes, but there is still people want to buy the product, and it's not like real life where you can pick it up. So when people do go to buy stuff, they are going to ask for more photos and everything like that. I mean, I've even seen it myself. I work with another company that does British-based, assets like Dy1an Development does,
Yeah.
and we get people sort of saying, "Hey, can I see more photos of this?" And then we have to go in and take the photos of it. And as long as you take good photos and just post them directly on the website, people most likely won't want to see good photos then because they're already there, and that means they won't
also
have your
saves time
support
as
team
well.
clogged up. Exactly, it won't
Yeah.
have your support team sort of clogged up with people asking for photos.
Yeah, and normally it's me that has to get the photos. Obviously, the support team doesn't really have access to every single product we have, so they actually sometimes get busy. So the support time wait can be a bit long if they have some photos all the time. So that's why we try and get as many photos and as good photos as we can in there. So we normally have photos of different times of the day, like night time, daytime. Try and build the best picture possible.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a couple stores, like I said earlier, that do two videos. So in last episode's podcast, there was a video that was mentioned, and it was absolutely amazing. It was by Steel Productions, I think, and it was an absolutely incredible Blender video that they did. And obviously, then you're not going to be able to do that unless you have a massive team to create a Roblox map in Blender.
Yeah.
But they did make an extremely good one for, I think it was this mortar system with Dy1an Development. Obviously, you've got a video for your brand that's done extremely good. So if you're out there selling now and you want to promote a product or anything like that, maybe do put a little bit of thought into making a video, because instead of just putting photos in there that's not really live, you can't really see what's happening, put a video in there because people can actually see it working and see it in the action, because that's what buyers want. There's people who will want to buy things they want to see it working in action, and that's how they're going to buy
I guess it doesn't always have to be a video either. It could just be like graphic designs. I mean, I'm not that great at graphic design, so I have a graphic designer to make some designs for me, because 9 times out of 10 my graphic designs will look awful. So I guess if you have like the same theme, it does kind of build, I guess, a picture again for your brand. So it is a lot easier to get out there, and it's more easy to be seen. So if you have those products, they may be like, oh yeah, it is this guy again. Sometimes you can tell straight away by the graphic designs, obviously logos and the photos. And
I've obviously seen brands. I mean, your brand has a specific colour as well. The D logo, gold, your brand's colour, and I think that's what makes your brand unique. Because as soon as I see a gold D, I'm like, yep, that's Dy1an Development. And I think it goes with a lot of brands as well. So I think having your brand or your business have a certain colour or certain way of doing things is also extremely important. Whether it be on an actual product image or whether it just be in the Discord server or on social media, it is going to be really important that you do have your own way of doing things, because people are going to notice that and people are going to recognise that sort of graphic design is linked to your brand.
Yeah.
So it's like anything,
but it's
really.
more eye-catching as well.
Exactly, eye-catching, and people are going to realise, I've seen that design before, that must be this certain brand. Now, Dy1an Development again is obviously a big role-playing group for making them sort of assets. How do you think Dy1an Development does when you comes across companies that also do the same thing? Do you think of them as competition, or do you think of them as potential?
I'm not really that
partners?
bothered about competitive in the sense, because the market is massive, so it's not like a tight market where like each sale counts loads. So we do have loads of partners, because it is good to have relations and not just have sometimes see stores that don't really like each other because they're in the same market, and if you have a market this big, I don't see the point in having rants with each other. I mean, both products are going to sell, it just depends on the customer and the store itself. If you have a market which is so so big, you can't really just take over the
I think it
whole
was
thing.
Dy1an in the first one, and they said the exact same thing. Did you know, they don't see him as competition. And what's actually really funny after that podcast episode came out is they actually partnered with, I think, the company that they were sort of talking about, Lua Group. They partnered with them, and it was
the school thing.
Yeah, and it was sort of interesting because I was like, I thought they were going to be like against each other because that's what everyone in the community thought. But when they partnered, it was sort of like a big shock because I didn't really expect it, and so didn't people in the Discord server. But I think that's what good relations can do. It can bring people together, and I think that's what was great about that partnership. And obviously, Dy1an Development having so many partners as well, it means that if anything goes on, you can talk to them, and maybe if let's say, there was a big massive scam going around, you could partner in sharing the knowledge and sharing the information as well to protect your own community. So we've talked about the present Dy1an Development and the past. Now let's talk about the future. So what do you want Dy1an Development to turn into? Do you want it to turn into this big empire, or do you want it to just turn into the same thing?
Kind of the same thing it is now, but we want to expand into more than just the UK style of stuff. I mean, obviously more stuff with our airports and stuff like that, and maybe even to more like the army type of stuff, because that's also a huge thing. So we are right now solely based on UK because that's kind of our talent, I suppose, and it is a massive market, and it still is it's still growing. That's still going to be our main focus, but we obviously want to get out there and do more products. Obviously right now we still have vehicles, scripts, tools, uniforms, stuff like that, and we do have a few American style things as well, but we don't have anything to do with airports at the moment, which is what we're doing now, and maybe in the future we'll start looking at more like warfare stuff.
I think it's absolutely amazing that you are going into sort of more aviation and row aviation stuff. You're going into these different markets. Would you ever consider going into something like row schooling, or
We haven't really thought about that just yet. I mean, I know it's a huge market, but in terms of, I don't really script, so most of my scripts come from the team. I mean, from what I've seen, the school system is quite script heavy. I mean, you have all like the whiteboard stuff, I don't really know loads about it, but the attendance stuff, you have like the actual main system stuff, which is what the other podcast was about. We could go into it, but it would be a lot more build based, and like you'd have a school, and the scripts and like the systems would probably have to come from a different store, which we could maybe partner with and have like some sort of bundle with it. That would be a good idea, to be fair. I just thought of that right at the spot, but so that could work, but mainly it would be just be building wise. So you just have the school, because if you look at our products, not all of them are heavy scripted.
Obviously I've seen what you've just said, and obviously I do agree with you on that. When you look at stuff like J Development or Lua Group, it has taken ages for their products to come out. It was worth it for them because it obviously boosted their audience, and even J Development came on the podcast and boosted their audience even more. So yes, I do obviously get where you're coming from, and I feel like Dy1an Development is more of a building focused sort of group. So as I said, obviously Dylan, thank you for coming on the podcast today, and thank you for obviously letting us have this opportunity to have you on. Thank you for reaching out and asking, because again, it's obviously amazing to have you on the podcast. Of course, if you're watching this at home, don't forget to go to Dy1an Development on Clearly Development, and of course if you've had any of their products before, do of course leave them a review. Reviewing them not only impacts the creators positively, but also makes their sales increase too, which obviously in the long term helps them make new products and helps you make your game yours as well. Of course, for more insightful interviews or community highlights, keep notified, of course, by clicking that bell icon on our podcast of when we do upload new ClearlyCast episodes. For now, keep creating and keep sharing, and who knows, your favourite store, like Dy1an Development here today, may end up featuring on our ClearlyCast. Until next time, I'm Reese, this is Dylan, this has been Dy1an Development and the ClearlyCast, and we'll hope to see you next time on the next ClearlyCast episode.